What's up, community? Welcome to the No Bull Podcast. I'm your host, Brianna Bull, and I am bringing you everything basketball. Okay, last night was crazy. What's up, Dame? Welcome to the chat. I'm excited that you're here. We have so much to talk about. Last night's games were wild. Plus, Lonzo Ball to the Cavs? Okay, let's talk about it. All right. I for sure just want to hop right into Lonzo. Okay? Cuz the game starts, so we got the WNBA game coming up here at 8 p.m. So in 1 hour, we have the Dallas Wings versus the Washington Mystics. So first I want to just get into everything. And then I might miss the beginning of that game a little bit doing this stream, but we'll see. We'll see if I can get this all done in an hour. Okay. It's been a long day, and I'm just glad that I'm here with you talking basketball. So let's get into it. Yeah. First thing on the docket. Crazy, fam. Crazy. We have Lonzo Ball has been traded for Isaac Okoro. I might be saying his name wrong. What do we think? What the heck do we think about this? Let's see. I got my notes on this. Okay. Looks like, actually, I don't have my notes. Where are my notes? Oh gosh. Okay. Well, let's for starters talk about how Lonzo Ball is a very fragile guy. The reason why I feel like this is super random, unexpected trade, and it was unexpected not in like a good way, because he's just so injury prone. He's missed 2 seasons with injuries, and then even with it coming back to the Bulls this season, he was still hurt. So if we talk about who won this trade, and then for Isaac Okoro, which is like so random. Okay, Isaac, I believe he averaged 9 points a game. You know what? This is where my notes, I had them. Maybe I exited out of it. Darn. Okay, so we'll start with Lonzo. He averaged 7.6 points, 3.4 rebounds, 3.3 assists, and he only played in 35 games. He's 27 years old. Now, if I'm the Cleveland Cavaliers, I'm just really curious, like, why would you hopefully they're not done. Let's just start there. Hopefully they are not done, because you have Darius Garland, who's hurt, and you want to bring in another guy. You have Evan Mobley, who likes to get hurt too. Thankfully, Jared Allen is solid as a player. Thankfully, Donovan Mitchell hasn't been too crazy hurt. But I'm just saying, like, why are you investing into this guy? Lonzo. Why? Let's see what they're losing. They're losing Isaac Okoro, who averaged 6.1 points, 2.4 rebounds. Now, he's a strong defender, and he can shoot well from the perimeter. But here's the thing about him. He doesn't take that many shots from the perimeter. You know, Cleveland wasn't necessarily using him for that reason. So him going to the Bulls, I'm excited to see what that's going to look like for him on the perimeter, as they let guys like Ayo Dosunmu, Kobe White, who really isn't like a three-point shooter. But what other three-point shooter threats do they have? Yeah, let's go ahead and pull up each of these teams and really talk about what it's going to look like for them. Now, just based on, like, Lonzo is young at 27. I'm not sure how old Okoro is. But he's a young guy. I feel like he hasn't even been in the league that long. I think he's like second year pro. Maybe. First year pro, we'll see. We will see. Let's go ahead and get that pulled up for y'all. Let's go to the Rasta. Hopefully that worked. Yeah, it was I'm not saying it was like a trade of the week or anything like that. It was pretty underwhelming, but we definitely got to talk about it. Okay. So these are their 2 draft picks, which I feel like there's been some trades that happened, but we'll talk about that with the Wolves. There's been already some trades that have went down with these drafts, but that's another conversation. Okay, so they got Kobe White, Josh Giddey, Javon Carter, Jalen Smith, Nikola Vucevic, which he's one of the best bigs in the league for sure. Oh, I feel like it's really skippy today. Like, my computer's working extra hard. I just feel like I'm skipping a lot today. Sorry about that, guys. 8 gigabytes of RAM here. Ayo Dosunmu, Zach Collins, Kevin Huerter, Matas Buzelis. Oh, gosh. I don't know how Julian Phillip, Emmanuel Miller, and then Talon Horton Tucker. I've seen him do some things. And Trey Jones. And Patrick Williams. Everybody else is kind of random to me. I don't really know them all too well. But I mean, with Isaac was coming off the bench for them, unless he was sometimes starting because of maybe Karras was hurt or they wanted to switch it up or whatever the case may be. But I don't know. It's an underwhelming trade. I'm not going to spend too long talking about it, but Lonzo here, I think him going to, let's check out the Cavs roster. I think him going to the Cavaliers is temporary. They know that. Lonzo knows that. Just based on his stock, right? Based on how often he gets hurt, I feel like the Cavs lost on this trade. I'm a little disappointed in them for sure. Like, I hope there's like a long-term plan here, especially with Ty Jerome still in the free agency, I believe. Like, what decisions are they going to make with this guy? And is he going to be brought more into the fold as like a primary scorer? Max Strus, Evan Mobley, even Max, like once Max came back, he was gone for the first half of the season almost. Then he came back and he started to get his groove back with the team. Sam Merrill just re-signed a contract, so he will be actually getting paid way more than what he's been paid before. And then Javonte Green, Darius Garland, DeAndre Hunter. I forgot he got traded because Karras is on the Hawks now. And he's coming from the Hawks there. Wow, I forgot about that. Tristan Thompson, boo. Imani Bates, he's solid. Who's Jalen Tyson? Anyway. Jared Allen, Dean Wade, Luke Travers, Donovan Mitchell, and then Isaac is out of there. Now they got Lonzo. I mean, I don't know. Are they gonna bring Lonzo off the bench? Is he gonna play? I gotta see how all this unfolds. I could be hating a little bit, but I'm not really feeling it, y'all. I'm not. But it's gonna be fun to watch both teams. It looks like to me, just based off of, what the Bulls got going on, it really feels like the Bulls are, because we're going to talk about it. I think the Bulls are rebuilding. They're on a rebuild right now. They got a whole bunch of young guys, a couple old heads like Patrick Williams, but for the most part, it just seems like they want to go with a lot of guards. They got some height on them, don't get me wrong, with Vucevic, Zach Collins, even Thornton Tucker's like a big guy. Like, adding Isaac is another defensive presence, right? And hopefully someone who's going to be able to knock down that three-pointer. I guess because they got Josh Giddey, they were like, yeah, we don't really need another point guard. Even like with Kobe White, who isn't necessarily a point guard, he's more like a shooting guard for sure. But it was, I understand it from the Bulls' perspective. And to get Isaac, like, I understand it. What I don't understand it is from the Cleveland Cavaliers' perspective. That's why I'm feeling like this might just be a stopping point. This might be there's a longer game going on here. And the trade for Lonzo is not done. But we need that guy to stay healthy in order for us to really, like really see some stuff happen, later down the line. But, yeah. But out of the two teams that won, definitely Chicago Bulls won out on this one. Definitely. 100%. I think it was a good choice. And I look forward to watching them play this season. Not just because we share a name almost, but because I enjoy a lot of their players on their team, and I've always enjoyed watching Chicago play. I think they've always just had like a good organization and coaching system, and yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Okay, let's move on and talk about, it wasn't a trade, but it was a key free agent who I think next year is going to be one of their best seasons in the league. I'm foreshadowing it, putting it here, stamping it now. Okay? I have, wait a minute. Where's it at? Oh, this one? Is this it? Naz Reid has re-signed with the Minnesota Timberwolves. Okay? He re-signed with a 5-year, $125 million deal. He played in 80 games, averaging 14.2 points per game, 6 rebounds per game, and 2.3 assists. Now, that's 6 rebounds. I think you heard the height of my tone. Is because Naz Reid, not only, he plays like a stretch forward, like stretch guard almost. And I noticed, like, when you watch him play, so first of all, last season, he averaged 1.3 assists. So for him to jump from 1.3 assists to 2.3 assists in just 1 year, and I was watching, he has amazing court awareness. I really enjoyed watching him play basketball. And so I was hoping if he didn't get re-signed that he would find a team that actually would value him. And I'm really hoping, Anthony Edwards, talking to you, that you value Naz Reid a little bit more. Y'all need to put him in better positions to not only score, but to play make and create shots for other guys. Because that's what this guy is good at doing. Even though right now it says 2.3 assists, I'm telling you. I watched Naz play and he's very impressive. And I just hope he gets his team starts to see that. Okay? But yeah, I think this was a really good move for the Wolves, for Naz, and I'm wishing him the best. Now, for Julius Randle, I can't say I had the same tone of endearment for that man. I'm not a huge fan of Julius Randle, even though he's left-handed. I'm biased because I'm left-handed. Everybody who's left-handed has an automatic bias with me. But Julius Randle, just, I'm not a huge fan of Julius. And it's still up in the air whether or not he's going to resign. It's looking like, based on the rumors, he just might resign with them. But they say he's worth like $30 million. So, I mean, that salary cap or whatever, I don't know. Actually, let's pull up the Wolves roster because I do want to talk about another key acquisition that they made in the draft that I feel like is really going to help them this coming season, especially with their big presence, right? Like they have a great backcourt with Dante DiVincenzo, obviously Anthony Edwards. They even got Jaden McDaniels. Naz Reid now is re-signed. And then we'll talk about Nickeil Alexander-Walker here in a second. But they have an amazing backcourt. Their front court is very much lacking. And although they have, was he 2-time or 3-time Defensive Player of the Year? Rudy Gobert. You feel me? So they needed to build on their front court for sure. And I'm pretty sure I'm missing some key players here. So that's why I'm like, let's pull up this roster. Okay. Yep, here goes Dante. And again, we'll talk about Joanne Behringer. Rasheer Fleming was traded. So we'll talk about that for a second. But let's see. Oh, Terrence Shannon Jr., he's another. And then Rob Dillingham. So they have a huge backcourt. So them getting a better front court is very much necessary. I mean, you got Joe Ingles, but, he's old. And then Mike Conley. See, I be forgetting. Mike Conley, who, very underwhelming. I was hoping that they might trade him or something, but we'll see. Let's see. They got a center, Jesse Howard. Let's see how Jesse played. Okay. We're going to keep moving on. Oh, and they also got Jalen Clark coming out of Memphis. When they had that trade with Rod Dillingham and stuff like that, Rob came over along with Jalen Clark. Yeah, I mean, Julius Randle. Oh, and they got Bones Highland. Bro, I love Bones Highland. He's a sleeper. He kind of been hurt, but I really, really like Bones Highland. And then you got Luke Garza. See what's up with Luke. He played in 39 games, averaged 3.5 points per game, only 1.4 rebounds. Okay. As a center? Jesus, take the wheel. Take it. But yeah, so one of the key pickups that they got was this forward slash, I don't know, I feel like he's going to be like a center. Forward slash center, Joanne Behringer. He was picked in the first round and picked 17. He's French. He stands at 7 foot. I feel like they picked him up for the defensive potential, obviously his wingspan, and his raw athletic ability. And they need that in the front court desperately. So obviously, because they rely on their guards to score. This isn't a team that relies on their big men. They definitely are relying on their guards. I think he could probably get developed alongside Rudy since Rudy's so tall and Rudy's French too. I see what y'all did there. I see, Wolves. I see what y'all did there. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, that was smart. That was smart on y'all. I see it. I respect it. Let's see. But hopefully maybe he'll become like a key rotation player, get some pick and rolls going. I was looking at his stats a little bit. I was like, okay, I ain't mad at it. I ain't mad at it at all. I definitely look forward to seeing what they do with that. All right, so to wrap up the NBA, I wanted to discuss some 2025 offseason buzz. I found this article for Fox that they dropped around 2:25 p.m. today because it has slight updates for some free agency moves that have been going on. And like I said, Merrill, Cleveland's making moves with that trade for Lonzo. And they they're going to stay. Sam Merrill's going to sign a 4-year deal for $38 million. He averaged 7.2 points per game, shooting 40.6 from the field, 37.2 from three-point land. So most of his shots are three-pointers, and he's a great three-pointer shooter. And he appeared in 71 games. I'm always, any guy in the league that plays in more than 70 games is to me has high value. Because right now, typically the trend for these guys is to sit and be soft. I'll say it now. Y'all are soft. Y'all make millions of dollars a year to sit. Okay. Now, moving on, Kuminga. Okay, so this guy, I feel like he's expected to become a restricted free agent. The Warriors offered him $7.9 million in a qualifying offer, according to ESPN. The Warriors have right to match any offer and then can explore a sign and trade option as well. I absolutely think it's going to happen. I don't think Kuminga is going to stay with the Warriors. I think he believes he's worth more than he's higher value. And with Jimmy there now, I think it's a perfect time for Jonathan to get the hell out of there and for the Warriors to leverage Kuminga, because Kuminga is a great guard, great presence on the court. And I'm really interested to see if he's going to land on a team that's going to require more of his scoring ability. Now, does he have what it takes to lead a team? No. But he can become a crucial key member for a team that he goes to, depending on what that looks like. I'm not even going to sit here and try to guess what team, but if I could think about the Warriors, and maybe what they need and what they're looking for with Stephon, Jimmy. They still have Draymond. Looking at their contract, I haven't looked at the roster. They got Trace Jackson Davis, who in his first year as a rookie, they used him a lot, but his first year pro, you start to see that dwindle down. Like he wasn't as effective here this season. They also have Kyle Anderson, or is he now on the Heat? They traded him. Yeah, he's on the Heat now. Who does the Warriors have? They still got Moses Moody, I believe. I think they're gonna keep Moses. Do they still got Buddy Hield? Or is Buddy Hield on the Sixers? Or did Buddy come from this? I think Buddy on the Warriors. Matter of fact, we should just pull it up real quick. Let's see what the Warriors got going on. And here I am going on tangents again when I'm supposed to be locked in. Because we got a lot to talk about for the WNBA today. And I'm very much excited to talk about it. But yeah. Just pulling up. I want to pull up the Warriors. What is this? Come on now. Come on. I want to pull up the Warriors roster real quick. Just take a look at that. Ooh. I always get this stuff like right here. I don't understand. I think it's my lip gloss, honestly. Okay. Team roster. My computer's just working really hard. And it's like... Today's not the day. Okay, they got Gary Payton. Kuminga might be out of there soon. Brandon Podojemski, who has been hurt, but he should be getting back. He should be back by the time we start. Moses Moody, Kevon Looney, Buddy Hield is on the team. Then they got Jimmy Butler. Not sure what Braxton's gonna bring. Oh, they definitely use Santos a lot towards the end of the season. And Quentin Post. Draymond, Steph, Kevin Knox, Trace Jackson. You know what? You know what I anticipate? They're a huge team. I really anticipate them getting a backcourt player if they're going to trade Kuminga. It's going to be a guard that is very similar with the same scoring capability as Jonathan Kuminga. And he could, I think this guard can be ball dominant, but maybe not ball dominant in the way that Jonathan was. Like a little more ball dominant, where he can create his own shot. But or can even maybe be more of a catch and shoot lethal shooter. Maybe. Probably, maybe they'll lean towards more of a catch and shoot lethal shooter, possibly. Who is that going to be? I don't know. But I will say something that really stuck out to me. Okay, okay, I'm going to guess. Just because of this. Austin Reeves. I think that's the next line here. Oh, that was the Timberwolves. We talked about that. They re-signed Devin Booker. The 76ers picking up Draymond. I don't care about that. Austin Reeves rejects his extension offer. He turned down a 4-year, $89.2 million extension. This was the maximum offer that the Lakers could make to Reeves, who originally signed a 4-year, $53.8 million contract in 2023. He's in his third season of that deal, which includes a $14.9 million player option for this next coming season. Reeves averaged a career high of 20.2 points, 5.8 assists, and 1 point steals per game. Now, hear me out. What if? Okay, where is that coming from? I don't know, guys. I don't know where that's coming from. Sorry. I have no idea where that music came from. Hear me out. What if Jonathan Kuminga goes to the Lakers with Clint Capella, and Austin Reeves ends up at Golden State with Steph and Jimmy? I'm just saying. Think about it. So we gonna see. I can't believe the Lakers can't afford to pay people. Like, what's going on at the Lakers? Why can y'all not afford to pay these people? What's going on? Y'all know Austin is worth, I think Austin is worth $89.2 million. I'm just saying. Everything he's given to the team all these years. He had a career high 20.2 points. He gave y'all everything. Blood, sweat, and tears. Can't believe you're not trying to pay this man more. Is y'all broke? Is y'all going broke? What's going on? Okay. In other news, Knicks are interviewing for James Borrego, who is the current assistant coach for the New Orleans Pelicans, which anybody coming out of New Orleans Pelicans, I'm concerned for the team that they're going to. I'm just saying, like, just New Orleans just seems to have some bad juju going on over there. Don't know. But across Borrego's 4 seasons as a head coach, he was at Charlotte, who went 148 for 183. He was a part of the head coach of Willie Green's coaching staff in New Orleans in the past 2 seasons. But he is the fourth person who has been interviewed with the Knicks, alongside former Sacramento Kings head coach Mike Brown and former Memphis Grizzlies head coach Taylor Jenkins, and a Minnesota Timberwolves assistant coach, Micah Nori. Mike Brown might get that joint. I like Mike Brown. And he brought the Kings to like a really good regular season run, right? That was him. But I even like Taylor Jenkins. Now, if I'm looking at the Knicks, I think they need more of a coach like Mike Brown as opposed to a Taylor Jenkins. If you looked at like Memphis Grizzlies coming off, coaching all these young guys and stuff, letting Josh shoot up the gym and stuff like that, you know, it's like, no. I'm just kidding. Okay, checking the chat. What's up? All right, Carter Bryant Spurs. Do you think Steph is short? Yes. He's not short, but like even next to Klay Thompson, he's short. Like, he's a small dude, but despite his height, I think what set him apart, like obviously him shooting all his threes, but you really see him from one season to the next really demonstrate the ability to finish really well at the rim despite his height. He is short though. And then we got Joe Swithers, WNBA. Yes. I'm about to tap into the WNBA now. One more thing I wanted to point out was the John Collins opting into this player option. And he's testing the free agency, which this season he was like hurt the entire season, so I'm pretty sure that dropped his stock value. But when he was playing for the Jazz, he was like really good. And for him to be a center / forward, but still kind of move like a guard, I'm excited to see where he might land. Utah Jazz is just on a rebuild, and I don't know. We'll see what Ace Bailey do when he get there, Mr. Diva Ace Bailey. But okay, so moving on. That wraps up the NBA. Drop your thoughts in the chat. Like, I would love to hear what you had to think about the trade with Lonzo going to Cleveland and Isaac Okoro to the Bulls. And then what do you think about Austin Reeves rejecting his extension offer to the Lakers? Where would that possibly put him? Why are the Lakers so being so cheap these days? And then also, what do you think about Naz Reid re-signing to the Minnesota Wolves and where that might land? Where will Julius Randle re-sign? Who knows? They need him. They need a front court. They need that. They got enough backcourt players. They need a front court presence to improve. All right. So moving to the WNBA. So excited. Let's get that going here. One second. Bear with me. Okay. WNBA. Last night's games were epic. It was crazy. It was out of this world. We had one game going to overtime. We had Paige Bueckers making WNBA history with a historical stat line. And we had an unexpected blowout that have caused me worries for our beloved Sabrina. Okay, I'm concerned for her and her neck. All right, but we're going to start off with the Fevers versus the Wings, right? So Fever beat the Wings, unfortunately. I was very I had the Wings upsetting the Fever, I'm not going to lie. So I was a little bit disappointed, sad, but they put up a hell of a fight, okay? But ultimately the Fever ended up on top. So what I noticed, this Fever team, they came out really aggressive without Caitlin Clark, because right now, remember, she's out with a groin injury. All right. They had a ton of energy offensively. And one of the things I noticed that they did differently was they started McDonald. What's her name? Ari McDonald. Okay. And you really start to see her come alive and become like, what I love is the adjustment that the Fever made with Kelsey Mitchell, because in their game versus the LA Sparks, the last game that they played, you see Kelsey like kind of acting as their point guard. Not saying she's not capable of handling that position, but she is obviously one of the best 3-point shooters this league has to offer. And most of her shots that are like really like her getting hot, she could do like a one dribble pull up from the three, absolutely. But I like to see her coming off ball, catching and shooting. That's what I really like to see her. That's where I think she's great. But in transition, she finished really well. But in the half court, just trying to like go downhill and finish, that's not really her game. So I was really excited to see the adjustments that they made. And you're starting to see McDonald take advantage of the fact that Caitlin is out, really showcasing her ability to honestly score. She was 6 for 9 from the field goal, 0 for 1 from the 3. But that's okay. She had 6 assists last night. And I think most of those assists went to Kelsey. So her and Kelsey kind of had this like 2-man game going on where they were for sure leading the Fever for with ball handling, creating plays. And you could kind of just see their chemistry. It was really fun to watch. And honestly, I was kind of surprised to see them with that much energy. Because it was a back-to-back. Like, traveling-wise, I would have been tired. But they came out like it was nothing. So that was fun. Moving on, I do want to highlight, before we get to Paige, because obviously we're going to get to Paige, okay? Obviously. The Wings, it really came down to the end, because they started to make a comeback there in the third quarter. So, like, the first half, they struggled to score. Before the half ended, Paige hit this like amazing 3-point shot from like damn near the half court line. That obviously cut the Fever's lead by a little bit, but it was really like late in the third quarter when they started to come alive. Now the fourth quarter towards the end is really where things changed. Okay, the Fever went on a 12-2 run with like a couple minutes left in the game, and it was led by Natasha Howard, who ended up just exploding. And unfortunately, Lee Yaru, who I had high hopes for, she could not sustain Natasha Howard, unfortunately. Let me see. Yeah, Paige, someone says, do you like BBC? BBC? What does that mean? Do I like BBC? Paige knee injury. Yes, we're going to get to Paige's knee injury. They did drop a report. Paige will not play tonight due to a knee injury. So we are going to talk about tonight's game versus the Mystics and what that might look like. But just continue on real quick with the Fever. I do want to point out Kelsey Mitchell had a record season high 32 points, 7 assists. She shot 11 for 17 from the field goal, 4 from 6 from the 3-point land. She was just amazing with her playmaking. It was really, really fun to watch her. Aaliyah Boston chipped in 21 points, 6 rebounds, 9 for 14. Still that same consistency from her that we've seen time and time again. She is definitely a potential All-Star this year. And then Natasha Howard, she had a double-double. And again, it was her that led the charge at the end there for the Fever, with her 15 points, 13 rebounds, 4 assists, and 3 steals. So she was everywhere for the Fever last night. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it for the Fever. Let's now shift to Paige Bueckers. 27 points, 6 assists, 2 blocks, 2 steals, and 0 turnovers. Yes, 0 turnovers. She's the first player in WNBA history with that stat line. So it's unfortunate to see that she's injured, that she went down and she won't be playing tonight. It's also unfortunate with the All-Star game so close coming up here July 18th. So we're a little under a month away from the All-Star game. I'm hoping whatever's going on with Paige can clear up, because I voted for her to be an All-Star, and I sure hope that you vote for her to be an All-Star and that she will be able to participate in that game. Aside from her, I do want to point out this Dallas Wings team, and it's like the last thing to wrap up that game. Hold on, one thing that I write down for that. One thing I want to point out about this Dallas team is that at one point, the Fever were leading them by 23 points. And although this Dallas team is young, they're only 4. The record was 4-12. Now they're 4-13. They don't have a really great record in the West. I just want to point out that they don't give up. They don't stop. Like, they don't stop hustling. You really see them trying as hard as they can. And even if this season isn't it for them, I see their potential continuing to rise, and next year could really be great for them, depending on if their continuity remains, if they can maybe improve their front court, because they have a great back court. I just think that this ain't their year, but that's okay. They're still one of my favorite teams so far. Watching all these teams play, they're my underdogs. Okay, I really, really am rooting for them, and I can't wait to see what they bring to the league for the rest of the year and even in the future, especially Paige. Okay, let's see what the comments got to say. Is VUC getting traded before the season starts? I had a meeting, call back into it. Is VUC Yeah, what's good? I see a lot of new people in the chat. Welcome. Glad to have you here. We are talking about last night's recap, 5 games, WNBA. We just talked about the Fever versus the Dallas Wings, and so now we're gonna talk about this Golden State Valkyrie and Chicago Sky game. Okay, last night I predicted that the Golden State Valkyrie was going to beat the Chicago Sky, and that is what ended up happening. They won 83-78. Now, this game was neck and neck the entire time. I was a little bit concerned for Golden State Valkyrie there in the second and third quarter because it was just both teams were playing so sloppy. Now, it's normal for the Chicago Sky to be a little sloppy, okay? The Golden State Valkyrie, since this is their inaugural season, it was the first time that Chicago Sky and Golden State did meet and play ever. And both teams, they're very different teams. But one thing that Chicago Sky did really well last night was shoot the three. They shot 13 from 33 from three last night, which was super good for them. And then let's see. Yeah, that was 39% from, I was just trying to get the average. That was 39% from the field. Angel Reese, she scored 17 points, 17 for 16 shooting, and she did notch 18 rebounds. I do want to point out 11 of those 18 rebounds were defensive boards. Now, with Camila Cardoso out, she won't be back until next month. Apparently, allegedly, she might not even come back. I don't know what's going on there. If anybody knows, leave a comment in chat. But with Cardoso out, they obviously rely heavily on Angel Reese. The problem is with that is foul trouble. I mean, Angel Reese, I think she was one of 3 players on the Chicago Sky who had 5 fouls last night. That is not going to do. Although they rely heavily on their rotation, they do play all their players for a decent amount of minutes. Let's see. Yeah, even off the bench, Haley Van Lith played 13 minutes. Kia Nurse off the bench, we'll talk about her, 27 minutes. And then Elizabeth Williams was 17 minutes. So they do, rotate their players a good amount. But they had to because 3 of their starters, Ariel, Angel, and Michaela, 5 personal fouls. I don't know. But Angel still was able to play 34 minutes. She shot 7 for 16, like I said. And she made a 3. So she took 2 threes last night and made one of them. So that was fun to see her knock that down. Fun and random. Yes, we'll talk about Kayla Thornton. 29 points. She's becoming that go-to scorer for the Valkyries. And they're another team alongside the Dallas Wings who I'm watching and I'm like, bro, they're going to be nasty. Kate Martin, nasty. But, okay, let's pull up my notes. See you on anything else. Oh, staying on track with Chicago Sky. Kia Nurse, bro. She's a veteran. She came off the bench last night, but man, she don't play like she a bench player at all. She was exactly what they needed. She was 5 for 11 from beyond the arc. She finished with 17 points, 4 rebounds, and 3 steals. And you can look at those stats and be like, oh, Kia Nurse had a good game. But you look at her play, she just makes a difference for them on so many different fronts. She does things that just don't make it onto the stat line, man. She truly makes a difference for this team. And if she were to ever get hurt, Chicago Sky are in trouble, okay? Let's see. Let's move on to the Golden State Valkyries. Okay, like you said, Kayla Thornton. She was 8 from 15 from the 3, 9 for 10 from the free throw, which we see time and time again, especially in the NBA. Players are being celebrated for their ability to get to the free throw line. It's like a skill thing. We celebrate that now. So the fact that she's able to draw the foul and then not only draw the foul, but shoot 90% from the free throw, that is the makings for a great, MVP caliber type of player. Okay, she was everywhere for them. And then not only is she a great scorer, she's being led with a floor general of Veronica Burton. Okay, Burton. Let's see what Burton had got going on there. Burton, she scored. I mean, she had 4 assists. She did not score that well. Okay, I know, but hear me out. Veronica Burton is still somebody that I would want to lead my team. She's aggressive. She's a playmaker. She looks for her players. They play really well together with her. And I think she knows her place, when it comes to like what the team needs from her and what she's going to do. Now, with Kate Martin coming off the bench, and she's hot right now. All right. Hot. I think she had 4 or 5 threes last game. And then her getting, how many threes she scored? She was 3 from 7 from the 3-point land this time. She's going stupid, y'all. Now, the downside for Kate Martin is her size. Okay? Right now, Stephanie Talbot is starting for the Valkyries. And I am not really that impressed with Stephanie Talbot. I'll be honest with you. Just watching her these past couple games, I'm like, But she's long. She's tall. She can guard. So, kind of. But Kate Martin, she falls short on, I don't think she's able to keep up with some of the best guards in the league, size-wise, being able to guard well. You feel what I'm saying? I would be concerned for her against a Minnesota Lynx team, for example. I might be going way off here, but I would be concerned for her against like a Kayla McBride. Feel me? Or what's her name? What's shorty name? She was 4 for 4 last night with Bridget. I'll be concerned against Bridget Carlton. You feel what I'm saying? Like, even Courtney Williams. She not someone that I would want to guard anybody, but she gonna knock the shot down. So, there's that. I think she's gonna end up being a really great 3-point shooter. Hope she keeps staying hot for them. It's working. The Golden State Valkyries take a lot of threes, but they're knocking them down. Let's see. And I also wanted to talk about Monique Billings. Like, although she had an underwhelming stat, if you watched the game, you would see she was just crucial. She had 1 steal, but that 1 steal was late down the stretch. And I think that really made a difference because it led to a transition bucket. And when it comes to the Chicago Sky, one thing we learned about them is when they're down, they don't know how to sustain a lead in the fourth, like close games, the Chicago Sky just fall very flat. They're not very good in close games like that. And that's why I feel like Golden State Valkyrie ended up taking it home, because they got players like Tiffany Hayes, one of my favorite players to watch. Her ability to go downhill. So you got Kayla Thornton knocking threes down, knocking pull-ups down, and then you got to worry about Tiffany Hayes driving in and scoring on you. Then you got to worry about Kate Martin out there on the 3. And then even you can't sleep on Veronica Burton. Do not sleep on Veronica Burton, bro. I'm saying this Golden State Valkyries team is on the up and up, and I think they're having an amazing first season. Do I see them going far in the playoffs at all this year? No, but they're off to a really great start, and so I'm going to continue to root for them. They're becoming one of my favorite teams, and yeah, see what the chat got to say. Nothing from the chat, but again, I appreciate y'all for tuning in. I don't have any of the videos today because I keep getting the copyright, and although they're allowing the fair use and stuff, I'm just like, I don't know, I might be going in a different direction. Also, they did not have the full game recap for me to play for the Lynx in Atlanta game, which we're about to talk about now. I just was like, what the heck? Like, where's the recap for that? They don't have it posted yet, despite it being like all day. All right. Moving on. Shout out to Kate Martin. Yes, indeed. Shout out to Kate Martin, yo. Okay, let us move on to the Lynx versus the Dream. Now let's talk about it, because that was an overtime thriller. Okay. The Lynx won it in overtime, 96-92, and ultimately, in my humble opinion, it came down to the ref's decision, the coaches getting outcoached, and it came down to veteran guards really good players making tough shots. And so let's talk about it. Okay. And last night there was some technical foul. Like the girls, they was getting nitty and gritty. They was ready to scrap. Like it was really fun to watch. So, for the most part, the Atlanta Dream had control for like big stretches of the second half. They like for like it was an interesting game because you at one point thought Atlanta was going to bring it home, and it was at Atlanta. So I think the crowd thought that too. But the Minnesota Lynx are so disciplined. They have a great coaching staff. Their system, like those women, I wasn't concerned for Minnesota at all watching them play. It was almost like Atlanta was like, oh my God, we got to hold on. Nafisha Khalid made her return. After missing 2 games, but she did not skip a beat. She had 26 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists, and 2 blocks. And 4 of those 26 points came in overtime, or even it was in overtime, where she had this tough pass from Courtney Williams with the lay-in, and then she had this turnaround jumper in the short corner. Tough. And I think she had some free throws too. But it wasn't those free throws that ultimately, like, it was the clutch free throws of Kayla McBride that kind of like sealed the deal for them. But Bridget Carlton, 4 from 4, perfect from the 3. That really kept things alive, their momentum going there in the first half, specifically in the second quarter. Now, what happened was in that first call, and when I say the first call, it was the first challenge. Bridget Carlton, so Alicia Gray had drove it in, right? And Bridget Carlton was guarding her. And so Bridget Carlton was riding Alicia's hip. And then she was met at the rim by, what's her name? Bear with me. Oh, Alana Smith. So she was met at the rim by Alana Smith. And so originally the refs called the foul on Bridget Carlton. So the Lynx challenged it, and it ended up becoming an intimate possession for the Lynx. So they won the call, and they lost. So the Atlanta Dream lost the foul. Like a foul got eradicated essentially because the refs called it on the wrong person. I guess that's like how it went down. I don't know the rules that well, but they originally called it on Bridget Carlton. She fouled out because she had 5 fouls at that point. She fouled out, and then they challenged it, and then because the challenge was successful, they took away that 1 foul so she could return to the game, and then they ended up with possession of the ball. That was the first challenge. The second challenge came in overtime. It was almost like an identical play almost. Again, I believe it was either Alicia or maybe Canada. I think Canada drove in. It might have been Jordan Canada who drove in. I think Jordan Canada drove in, and Alana Smith again was right there, met her at the rim, and she ended up blocking it, right? But then they called a foul. And so, again, the Lynx challenged it, and the challenge was successful. Now, Cheryl Reeves, she's a great coach. I think Atlanta Dream got outcoached last night. Obviously, the Lynx are a way better team for so many different reasons. Like, there's women on the Atlanta Dream. I'm not saying that they can't score. Ryan Howard. I'm not saying she not tough. She tough, bro. Brianna Jones, she ended up showing up for them as well. A lot of offensive rebounds, putbacks. She was a great presence to play. Brittany Griner, you know, she played 28 minutes, by the way, y'all. But here's the thing. Overtime. If it wasn't overtime, I think Shorty would have been at like the 22-minute mark. I'm like, I'm looking at this Atlanta team, and again, I'm not impressed, okay? Like, they're not as fluid in offense as I would hope for them to be. They rely heavily on just one-on-one basketball. They make great plays together. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying they're not a bad team, but I'm just not really feeling them as a team. I don't like their attitude. I don't really like how I just don't like how they play. Now, the Lynx, on the other hand, golly, they might take it all the way this year. It might just end up being to get to the playoffs. I don't know how it works fully because this is my first time with the WNBA and how everything works. But if Minnesota and Mercury are in the same conference, that's going to be a crazy good game with Alyssa Thomas, Satu Sabale. I think that's going to be, I want to see both of them play against each other immediately. Okay. Let me see. Now, I will say though, like I said with Atlanta, all five of the starters had double-digit scoring, and even a player off the bench had double-digit scoring. So again, I'm not saying that they not good. That's not what I'm trying to say. I think they need to keep working on their system. They needed their coaching, their system, and their attitudes. They need to work on that. Yeah, so there's that. Let's definitely between Lynx, Mercury, and Liberty, in my opinion. Okay, I'm glad you brought up Liberty, Dame, because we're moving on to that game. I was in tears, okay? All right, I'm being dramatic. I was not in tears, but Phoenix and Liberty. The Liberty fell to the Mercury 106-91, who, by the way, the Mercury last night set a new franchise record with 18 made threes. 7 of those 18 made threes came from Satu Sabale. It was crazy. They by the halftime, they were up 18 points. And their shooting was at 60%. Meanwhile, New York struggled early. Stewie and Sabrina combined for just 8 points by the half. Stewie with 5, Sabrina with 3. And it looked like Sabrina was struggling with her neck. And she had a really bad game against the last game. What did they play against, the Valkyries? Who they just play against? I think they just played against the Valkyries. Let me see. Yeah. She had a terrible shooting night against the Valkyries. So I thought last night she would have redemption. But she didn't. She didn't at all. It looked like it was just like slowing her down. But the Liberty's bench did try to spark some energy. Kennedy Burke, Marina Johannes, Naira Sabali, Isabel Harrison, they each had double figures in the first half. So it kept them kind of close, but it still was not enough. The largest lead last night was 19 points. Like, despite the efforts of the bench, with Stewie not performing and Sabrina not shooting well, they struggle as a team. And I'm concerned for them in the long run. When a team, like that's what, all right, you look at the Mystics, right? They don't got Brittany Sykes, but they're still able to score and win games. With the New York Liberty, their two best players don't play well all of a sudden and they're struggling. That's concerning. I feel like even if your two best players, even if 1 to 2 of your best players are not in the game and they not really doing what they usually do, although these ladies showed up, it still was not enough. But we can take into account how the Phoenix Mercury was going stupid. Alyssa Thomas, she had another all-around game with 17 points, 15 assists, and 9 rebounds. Shout out to Maryland. Alyssa Thomas, who went to Maryland. Shout out to Maryland, okay? And then, again, Satu Sabali, she led all scorers with 25 points, 7 threes. My goodness. And not only did you have to deal with Satu Sabali, you have to worry about Sammy Whitcomb. She had 5 threes last night. They were going crazy. Dumb, stupid. Let's talk about who else scored the threes. We had 2 for 3 from Monique. Yeah, that's pretty much it. What else was some key things that I had wrote down for this game that I was just like, what did I say? Oh, that was another thing I noticed. They have a good coaching system too. Like, you know, a lot of women are being rotated in and out. And with New York Liberty, it seems like they're really short. They do the same thing. Like, I feel like last night's game, if Phoenix, scoring 106 points in the WNBA is kind of rare. Typically, teams are scoring between 60 to 80 points. If you see a 90-point or 100-point game, then you know that they was hooping. Okay? So, if we could continue to see those numbers rise, that would be really cool. That would be really, really cool. But New York Liberty just fell short on their perimeter defense for sure. It's tough. It was tough to watch. That was the game I was like most looking forward to watch. And then it was like, damn. And then we're not even going to touch base on that Connecticut Sun Seattle Storm game. I'm sorry. We already know who won that game. Okay. We're going to keep it pushing. It's like, no. Connecticut Storm Connecticut Storm. That's hilarious. Connecticut Sun fell to the Seattle Storm. Their record now is 2 for 14. And I believe the Storm are 10-6. Yeah. The Storm managed to hold the Suns 97-81. So, tonight's game is brought to you by, just kidding. All right, tonight's game, let's take a look. We got Washington Mystics at the Dallas Wings. Again, Paige is out with a knee injury, tear. So I originally was like, oh, dang, I really don't know who's going to win this game. But now that I know that Paige is out, just saying, y'all. I'm just saying. I think let's look at the odds real quick because I'm not even kidding. I believe the odds originally were -6 and +6 for the Mystics. Oh, no, maybe it was -6 the entire time. I don't know. I was going to say, I feel like the odds kind of shifted now that Paige isn't going to be playing. But yeah, let's talk about it. Let us talk about it. So, need to know, Washington allows the fewest offensive points. All right, where did that go? Oh, the game already started. What time is it? Oh, it's about to start. It's going off right now. All right, we at 8 o'clock. Okay. Well, I don't think it's too late to still put some in. I definitely feel like the Mystics are going to win, though. That the Wings without Paige is like, I'm concerned for them. And the Mystics have been hooping. I think they're on a 2 or 3 game winning streak right now. So they're going crazy. All right, I don't foresee them stopping anytime soon. I'm curious, though. So it looks like Sonya, Kiki, Shakira Austin. Oh, Brittany Sykes comes back today, too. Yeah. Nah, bro. The Wings don't stand a chance. They don't stand a chance. Suggs, Sutton, Brittany Sykes, Shakira Austin, Kiki, and Sonya. They've been hooping. And with Brittany Sykes back, so it looks like they moved. You'll probably see some stuff from Jade Malprin, Lucy Olsen, Leah Edwards, and Stephanie Dawson. I do expect to see some things from them tonight as well. And then looking here, it looks like they started, and for the Dallas Wings, Kayla Charles, Melissa Smith, Lee Giroux. Shout out to Lee. I really like her. Arike and JJ Kinnerly is going to start in place of Paige Bueckers. So let's see. We might see something from Isaiah James, possibly. I don't know. I'm concerned for them, y'all. I really am. But we gonna see. I got the Mystics winning tonight. It should be a fun game. Okay. Well, I want to go tune into this game. I really appreciate everybody who joined in, everyone new, people who listened to me from beginning to end. Thank you. This is probably like my 11th day streaming. I'm already at 80 subscribers. I've noticed the views are slowly increasing for the streams. I think the highest now is like 80 views for one of my streams, and it looks like I'm averaging between 20 to 30 views altogether. So I'm really, really grateful for this support a couple days in. Be on the lookout for me to just continue to improve this experience, not only for you, but for me as well. Again, I started this page because basketball taught me how to love, and I love talking about basketball, all types of basketball. The WNBA has not disappointed me since I've started to tune in. And be on the lookout for, I think, tomorrow for the WNBA. Oh, today is your last day to vote for the All-Stars, so make sure you submit your vote to the All-Stars. Check out my stream from yesterday. You'll see who I chose for my starting. I think you get to pick 5 front court and 4 guards, or 6 front court and 4 guards. Yeah, so you get 10 total picks. And so make sure you go lock that in. Matter of fact, let me see real quick. The WNBA AT&T WNBA All-Star game. Oh yeah, here we go. I'll show you these are my 10 picks I locked in. Love it or hate it, I don't care. This is who I thought deserved it from just watching everything and everybody. I got Breonna Stewart. In the front court, I got Stewie, Aja Wilson, Alyssa Thomas, Nafisha Collier, Nneka, and Satu Sabale. And then for the guards, I chose Caitlin Clark, Sabrina Ionesco, Paige Bueckers, and Skylar Diggins. Now, I'm kind of I might switch out my guards, honestly, like Sabrina. I don't want to hate or nothing, bro, but I just been seeing, like, I didn't choose Kelsey Plum just because her team is not doing really well right now. Like, their record is like 4 and something, and I'm not saying that she's not doing a good job. 20 points, 5 assists, 2 rebounds is great, but I just was like, it was hard for me, but I don't know. Like for guards, yeah, like I thought about Ariel. Honestly, like Kayla Thornton, it's not that I wouldn't want her. She's a front court anyway. She's a forward, but just not yet. So that's what I went for. This is mine. Again, make sure you vote. The WNBA All-Star kicks off July 18th. That's when the skills challenge is, and then July 19th, Saturday, July 19th is when the WNBA All-Star game. So we'll be excited to watch that, talk about that, etc. But yeah, oh, what's up, MIP112 said keep grinding. I appreciate you. Dame said I feel where you coming from for the front court. You feel where I'm coming from with all this? Make sure y'all submit your votes, all right? Go. And you can vote twice. I think I could submit this. I think it might let me submit. I don't know. But yeah, check that out. And then the Commissioner's Cup is coming up too. I believe the Commissioner's Cup is July 11th. Hold on. Commissioner's Cup is going to be hosted by Indiana, similar to the All-Star. It's all in Indiana this year, I believe. Okay, here it is. Commissioner Cup final is July. Oh, it's Tuesday, July 1st. I'm glad I looked it up. Okay, Tuesday, July 1st is the Commissioner's Cup with the Indiana Fever and Minnesota Lynx. So, very much going to be very excited to talk about that game. And then tomorrow is a lot of games on tomorrow. 5 games. And they'll be on ESPN. So I'll probably end up going somewhere to watch these games. I can't wait for that. But you'll see New York Liberty and Atlanta Dream. Chicago Sky, LA Sparks. Then you got the Las Vegas Aces versus Phoenix Mercury. Huge game. Huge game. Aja Wilson versus Alyssa Thomas. Come on now. And then Connecticut Sun, Minnesota Lynx. Nothing needs to be said about that. And then Seattle Storm and Golden State Valkyrie. So yeah. Okay. I am very excited. I can see an upset right here. I'm not even gonna lie. I could tell you right now. Well, Seattle Storm is actually really big. They got a huge front court. And Golden State Valkyrie kind of struggles with that. So I don't know. Monique Billings might be able to hold it down. Anyway, getting ahead of myself. Okay. Go enjoy this game. Go tap into this. Oh, 4-11. Go tap into this Mystics and Dallas Wing game right now. Go lock in. I'm ready to lock in. Hope you have a great evening. And I will see y'all tomorrow. And just remember, if you know bull, you know ball. All right. Take care, y'all.